Astrology time, Shane here, dailyastrocat.com, and it's Thursday, the 7th of July. So, we've got the moon in Aquarius all day long. Every time I talk about the moon in Aquarius, my views drop. This isn't because it's an unpopular lunar placement, but because of what is possible with Pluto in Aquarius, and what Pluto in Aquarius is slowly but surely bringing about, okay? Oh, so... we're not going to talk about that. Yesterday's Mercury opposition brought out a negative comment on the presentation, on my presentation style. For some reason, right? I mean, I do trip over words sometimes, and I do try to keep it as natural as possible because that's authentic, right? Yeah, rather than have it clippy AI, a fake voice or something like that, or, just AI-generated graphics and stuff. It's just me and a microphone going along. I write some of this stuff, and I ad-lib a lot of it, too. So that's where we're at. So that negative comment was on Facebook, of all places, okay? I left it up because, what did I say about Mercury retrograde in words, right? Don't bother. Don't take the bait. Don't do that, right? Not taking it. But Megan and Entrance, handled it with a brilliant comment. So she just commented back to the guy, and it was brilliant. And for that, I thank you, and bless you, Megan. That was fantastic, right? What a comment! What a comment back. So, look. Community has my back. I can't ask for anything more. Other comments yesterday were thought-provoking, and they're starting to get very specific and granular, and I'm liking this. If you're not scrolling down and reading the comments and seeing what other people are saying and looking, there was a piece of art that was submitted yesterday, and it's just wonderful, right? That came from Peaceful Flying Insect on TikTok, and she shared her experience with Jupiter in her fifth house, and then actually shared an original piece of artwork that was stunning, fantastic, and I thank her for that. And then Alana sent a probing question about Mercury retrograde that sent me back into my back pages, and really, I'm going to focus on that coming up a little bit, right? Now, the astrology here is not dumbed down into memes, and it's not presented in AI fashion or anything like that. I respect you too much for that, right? I never tell you what something is or is not. I allow you to make that determination yourself, right? I should tell you what the options are. I can tell you what it can possibly mean. But sometimes I'll tell you where the flow is going and how to best take advantage of it. But as far as telling you what something is or is not, that's not part of what we do here. The astrology here, look, this is a tool that I came up with to help promote astrological literacy and self-directed study. Your own chart is a perfect place to start, and your chart will continuously reveal things to you for years. You never will, it's very, very hard to understand your chart fully, especially reading it yourself. But as you gain more insight into it, it becomes a passion. It's something that's really fun. Now, I don't gatekeep. That's for sure. In the spirit of the moon in Aquarius, all of my writing and musing is here to help you, to help elevate your vibration and tap into the flow of the cosmos. And that's what we do. Advanced information, Aquarius, right? Advanced technology, advanced invention. That's what we're doing. We're going with that. Uranus is considered to be the planet of astrology. That would make Aquarius the sign of astrology. So it just makes sense to be able to get this stuff out there and to have it out there for you to utilize to its fullest, right? And today's keyword is reading, as in I'm going to read something. You can get a reading, but I don't know. I hard time figuring out what I would even think of doing. It takes a lot of time, and I don't really have a lot of time. But if you ask me nicely, who knows? You never know. And the color is gray-purple. So Purples usually are Aquarian colors anyway. I was feeling that comment yesterday, and you know what? Why not? With the sun in Cancer, we're going to be bothered by things emotionally, right? Just a little bit more than normal. And look, on the other hand, I'm feeling elated with the other messages that everybody's been sharing, and especially with Megan coming back at the not offending, but just dumb comment, right? I mean, if somebody uses you're, come on, to say that I need to be direct and speak clearly and directly, yeah, no, I don't like that. So anyway, there is a minor shift in power dynamics today that you're going to see on the world stage. Now, where will it go? How big of a shift will it be? That remains to be seen, but there will be a shift. So the moon is conjunct with Pluto in Aquarius. So and you can count on this, right? We have an opportunity to make a creative splash this weekend. We do. We're going to take a chance, right? We're going to take a chance with Mercury being retrograde. So don't miss it. This Mercury retrograde's roots really go back to May 14th of this year, when the Sun and Mercury were last conjunct. And this is what I wrote back then. So pay close attention. I shared this with Alana, and I thought it was really prescient and pretty germane to what we're doing and what our mission is for this particular Mercury retrograde. So allow yourself to be guided gently today. The Sun conjunct Mercury will have us thinking that everything we're about to do is our idea. The plans of the cosmos aren't there for you to try to make sense of it. In fact, they are best realized through revelatory means, such as this astrology report. Accept the guidance and wisdom, embrace freedom, and acknowledge the intuitive wisdom you are being shown. Now, what you really need to do is embrace your intuitive wisdom, not the intuitive wisdom of others, but your own, because that's what really you're going to be listening to, and that's what the message of this Mercury retrograde is going to be, because everything else is just noise, but that stuff inside, that's what you need to be listening to. So, interestingly enough, the moon was in Aries on that day when I wrote that. Today, the moon is in Aquarius. If you've been looking elsewhere for answers to this Mercury retrograde, then look no further. Understanding the breadth and scope of your own intuition is probably the best way to spend your energy until Mercury is direct. It's still up to you to actively pursue these things, though. Some of you are meant to change the world, and others are here to create and move the way the collective frames the issues at hand. That's a big statement. Pay attention to it. Returning the power of government to the people is Pluto's mission in Aquarius. It's a long-term mission, right? The moon is sextile Saturn, and in this case, there are actions that will need to be taken soon. So there's a dangerous heat wave that we're currently enduring in most of the United States and parts of Europe. So please, please, please pay attention to your exposure to the elements, right? Minimize it if possible. Stay hydrated and check in on elderly and disadvantaged neighbors. Be compassionate and look out for those in your community. That is a moon and Aquarius thing to do, if there ever was one, right? So our historical event is kind of strange. It's interesting. In 1776, at the Continental Congress that was going to determine the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, John Dickinson abstains from the votes to declare independence. Now, why did he do that? What is the meaning of this guy from Pennsylvania, of all places? Well, as a delegate to Congress, Dickinson served on the committee that wrote the Model Treaty, a template for seeking alliances with foreign countries. But he opposed independence from Great Britain. Now, you have to understand, John Dickinson was a Quaker, but yet, he wanted to not engage in violence and not wanted to do it violently, and he didn't like the warfare aspect of it. But yet, he went on to serve in the Pennsylvania militia after he was summarily pushed out of the Continental Congress because he didn't ratify the that Declaration of Independence, the 4th of July document. So Nevertheless, he did write. Okay, so he either abstained or was absent, and he refused to sign it. So he wrote the first draft of the 1776-1777 Articles of Confederation and the Perpetual Union, and served as a militia officer during the Revolution. He was later elected president of the 1786 Annapolis Convention, because he had residence in Delaware too, and was called for the Constitutional Convention of 1787. And as a delegate from Delaware, he signed the U.S. Constitution. And our birth takes us to the stars. It is in 1952, Linda M. Godwin. She's an American PhD and NASA astronaut who flew on 3 shuttle missions, born in Cape Girardeau in Missouri. And that is all I have for you. Keep it up, guys. Read those comments. They're really interesting, and they're kind of fun. And I respond in detail to a lot of them, too. So you'll get a lot more astrology and a lot more back and forth and a lot more, it's just a fun community, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And thank you so much for Megan for your support as well. Do the nice things, like, follow, share, do all those things, right? Let's sum it up. Today's keyword is reading, because I read from a couple different things. That bit from about John Dickinson was actually from Wikipedia, which was pretty good. It was a very complicated tale, so I just had to take a shortcut like that. So it's reading, and the color is gray-purple. That is all I have for you. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and let's do this, okay? Today's a 5. Happy astrocatting.